Good morning to all of you here. I am live in outside of Destin, Florida, Santa Rosa Beach. Came here with the family for a vacation. We don't do that very often, but in fact, I think it's the first time that, aside from Karen and I just getting away, and last year at Zach and Lorena's getaway for their wedding, it's the first time we've kind of done a family thing as a getaway aside from the holiday tradition. So really excited to get a chance to be out here and be with the family. I wanted to come with you just just briefly for this because we're about to take off again as a family, jump in the RV and go walk the pier in Destin and see the sharks and the dolphins, and then maybe even go on a dolphin excursion and go see the dolphins in their natural swimmy habitat. We've been in the water with them for the last few days. I'm about sandy beached out, but I'm a Texas boy. We don't see a whole lot of sandy beaches there, usually just gravel. But I had a little bit of a lesson on the beach this last week that I thought was worth bringing to you. I watched a little 4-year-old building her sandcastle, and I watched her for a minute. I don't think she knew I was paying any attention, but she had this little blue, about the size of a Sonic cup bucket. And she would fill it with sand with her little ice cream scoop, and then she would shake it a little bit, and she would pound on the top of it. And then she'd scoop some more sand in, and she'd shake it a little bit and pound on the top of it. And then she got to the place where there was a heaping pile of sand on the top of the bucket. And she would pound it down, and then she'd scrape some off, and she'd pound it down some more with her ice cream scoop. And then she'd put more sand in it. And after it was a heap again, she'd scrape it off and pound it down until it was below the level of the bucket. She did this 5 or 6 times. And I kept looking at her, and the first thought in my head was, if you keep pounding it down in there, it's going to be really hard to get the sand out of that bucket. It's just going to be all stuck inside there. But when she picked the bucket up and she turned the bucket over on the ground, when she lifted it off, all the little squares on the top of the bucket that are supposed to make the castle made an incredible castle. Every little square was perfect. It looked like the rook on your chess table. It was perfect. And I was really impressed with that. Then she grabbed another one that kind of looked like the castle from Aladdin with the twisty spires up the top and the tall, pointy elements. And she began filling it with the same sand from the same spot with the same ice cream scoop. And she would pour it in there and fill it up. And she'd pour it in there and fill it up. And she'd pour it in and fill it up. And when she got it full, she turned it over and stuck it on the ground. And when she picked it up, it stood there about 2 seconds. It looked like somebody just taken sand with their hands and poured it on the ground and let it go. And that was the end of it. Because it all fell over and it looked nothing like the castle that was the plastic mold to make the castle from. And I was really perplexed by this for a moment. And then I realized it was the process of pressing it down, pounding it with the ice cream scoop, letting it settle to the bottom of the mold. That's what made the first castle stand. It was the preparation, the foundation, the pressing and the rebuilding and the pressing and it was the process that made the castle what it was. And I thought back to a client about a month and a half ago who told me, I've been through a whole lot of training. I've been through a whole lot of certification. I've been through a whole lot of people teaching me how to follow their mold. But no one's ever walked me through the process of becoming the kind of person that I need to be to live out that process, to live out that mold. And now that I've been through the StoryPower Method class, that 6 weeks training, and now that I'm doing the attitude hack, I'm seeing the two of those stacked together, and I realize I am a completely different person. I'm not just a person who can tell a story from stage. I'm a person who sees stories everywhere, and not just the mega narrative story, not just my life saga story. I see incidences as teachable moments. I see how they impact culture. I see how they impact brand. And I want to continue to do that in my writing and in the chapters that I provide for other people's books and in my own books. And so we're now working with that individual one-on-one to build books, to build stage presentations, to build training classes and online curriculums. And all of this will go back to the same place. What is the story in me? What are the teachable moments? A moment, not a memoir, an incident, not a saga. How do we find those in such a way that they impact people's lives in a minute or two? See, the little girl with the sandcastle, she's 4. She doesn't understand process. She doesn't understand the deliberateness of what she was doing. I don't know how she learned to pack the sand into the crevices of the castle mold, but I can tell you this, the mold of that first castle was still standing there when we left the beach that day. It was still looking just like the castle she built when we left the beach that day. Not so with the second one that was built in a hurry, that didn't have the press down. The process didn't have time to gel. The foundation didn't have time to set. And I want to challenge you as leaders, as communicators. Do you take the time to let things set, to press down, shaking together, running over, kind of a process? Are you deliberate about being complete in your process? Do you take the time to look at each step, each level, each layer, to ensure that what you're investing in the process has a chance to pay off? I think a lot of people rush to it. I've had clients that come to me and they say, hey, help me write the speech that sells. And what that tells me is not, I want to be made a better person so that I can succeed. Not, I want to be better so I can do better, so I can have better. Not, I want to be the kind of person worthy of delivering a speech. What it says to me is, I want to be making money delivering a speech. And I think speaking is an easy, fast way to cash. It's a fast path to cash. Now, listen, there's no doubt in my mind that speaking is a pathway to cash. There's a pathway to profit through speaking in a lot of different directions. Whether you're speaking to promote your business or speaking is your business, speaking is a great way to build a kingdom. Speaking is a great way to build a business. Speaking is also a great way to build a fiefdom. And if you're not careful and you don't know the difference, you end up with the second castle and not the first. You don't build a castle, a kingdom, an empire, a business that lasts. You built something that looked really cool when you shoved all the sand in it, and the minute you took someone else's mold off of your work, it collapsed because it wasn't your work. And I don't care if that was AI or that was some certification or training that you went to. If you're not creating your own intellectual property, if you're not establishing yourself as the expert in that content, and I don't mean by declaring yourself the expert or buying the certification, I mean by going through the content, living through the content, applying the content to yourself, and then figuring out, okay, well, it sounded like a great idea on paper, but now that I'm trying to do it, that doesn't work. I can't expect other people to do it if I'm not going to do it. So I want to challenge you as leaders and communicators to look at the process that you're going through yourself. Are you simply cramming yourself into someone else's mold? Are you doing it with such intensity that the process will leave a lasting impact on you when the mold is gone? Are you doing it only to the detail that you feel like if I have the speech that sells, I'll make the money, and it doesn't matter if I understand it, know it, or have lived it, as long as I can deliver it? I'm going to tell you right now, that's a fool's errand. You don't want to go down that path. Take the time to build in to the process your own development, your own transformation, your own proof that this idea works. Your ability to deliver it is one thing. Your ability to deliver it matched together with your ability to live it, that is life-changing, and not only for you, but for the people that you offer it to. So while I'm here on vacation, I'm going to give you that little simple piece of homework for Leading Leaders Podcast and StoryPower Academy. I want to challenge you. Don't just look at someone else's mold and go, I could do that. Look at that mold and ask yourself, if I pressed myself into it completely, will I take on that impression? Can I live it out long after the mold is gone? And if the answer is no, then keep pressing. If the answer is not yet, keep pressing. If the answer is, I'm not even sure that's the mold I want to follow, then here's an idea. Break the mold, create your own. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, or Tell It Like It Is TV. And I'll be back in studio and see you live next week. Have a great weekend.